I love you.
Hi, I love you too. Wasn't ready for that.
We're never going to be ready. This is just what's going to happen.
That's true. This is our whole mission, you know? Like, you're never ready. Just say yes. Just do it. Tonight, we aren't even, like, fully living in our RV yet. Like, we just brought stuff down. We're doing it step by step. And we went to the RV park that we're staying at, cafeteria, and the bartender was a 19-year-old girl who was telling us about, like, oh my gosh, I love that. Like, I have dreams of living like that, but I, you know, just all the buts, all the buts that we all have, you know, like, I want to do this, but I want to do this, but, and this is the whole reason we want to create our platform, is to tell you, like, love yourself and the gift of your life enough to be brave enough to do whatever it is that you were put on this earth to do, because you have not that many days here. Like, even if you live till you're 80, in the grand scheme of eternity, that's not that many days. Like, you only get to do life in this body once. Maybe we reincarnate in a different body. Maybe we reincarnate in the same body. But for all we know, like, you only get this skin, this relationships, the family you're born into, where you're born into, where you're going, this set of circumstances once. And, like, you are a miracle of billions of miracles coming together. Like, if you have faith or not, have faith in that you are a literal miracle, and the dreams that are put in you are for you, as Amber Lillystrom says. And we just, like, I'm so hyped, because that is what I want my life to be, is, like, helping women that go from this place of, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I know I'm made for more, like, but I don't know, like, I don't trust myself, I don't, like all these people say something else, but, like, there's something in you that knows that you're made for more, and there's something in you that is stopping you from that, and that's what I want to help women through, and I want to help people through. Like, I want you to not just numb out because you're living a life that other people wanted you to live, or you're living unhealed from trauma, or you're living all these things, but, like, there are so many things that we're so passionate about. And tonight was just such a reminder when we're in this place, and she was like, well, what's your plan? Like, how did you save up? How long did you plan this out for? I'm like, we didn't. We met 3 months ago, and, well, we haven't even celebrated our 3-month anniversary yet. And we are literally sitting in our RV that we bought together, with our truck out there that we bought together. And to the logical mind, it makes 0 sense. Like, we get that that's batshit crazy. But we live a crazy, amazing life because we trust our intuition and we go for it. And, like, also, that is my personality. I'm an Enneagram 7. I don't love details. I like the unknown. I like change. I like being like, let's just fucking go for it. But I also sob every time change happens. Like, us living this life, going full in, being full-time RVers and moving and being on the road, like, that means me stopping working for my sister and spending 5 days a week with my niece. And I've literally spent the past 2 days with her sobbing, because I know, like, I haven't even given my notice or anything yet, but, like, I know that season's coming to an end in my intuition. And, like, I'm just letting myself feel the feelings, because, like, I deeply love her. And I don't think enough people talk about how hard it is to leave good situations. Like, when you're like, oh, well, like, it's good and these people love me and I have a paycheck and, like, it's safe. It's safe and it's known. And your brain, like, actually doesn't register the difference between good and bad. It registers the difference between what is known and what is unknown. And your brain registers unknown as bad and known as good. So even if you're in habits that are horrible and awful for you, they're comfortable and they're known. And so your brain psychologically, we both have degrees in psychology. We both went for masters in counseling. We both dropped out of them. But, like, want to use the knowledge we have from those degrees in these ways to help people, especially young women, believe that they can be who they were made to be, no matter what the fuck anyone else has to say about it. And it is hard. And it is hard when you're like, well, I have good parents and they love me, and I have good family and they love me and they want what's best for me, and, like, this is what they're telling me to do. But this is what my intuition and my truth is telling me to do. And, like, I've lived both. We've lived both. We've done it both ways. Oh, sorry. We've been who we were because we were raised that way. And, like, we'll share a little bit of both of our stories of what that means. And both of us are just stepping into, like, living who we are supposed to be and called to be. And it's scary as shit. But, like, do it scared. Go anyways. Like, we don't know. She was like, how'd you know what you were doing? We don't know what we're doing.
No, we look like fools.
We don't. And that's okay. Like, the brave ones are always the one that's willing to step out and do something that they've never done before. Because every expert at everything was a beginner once. Everyone looked like a fool once. So, like, if you're not doing the thing on your heart because you're scared of looking like an idiot, or you're scared of failing, or you're scared of not knowing what you're doing, or you're scared of just that beginner fear, like, remind yourself that you are in the company of every single person that's ever done anything in the history of existence. Like, you were a beginner walker once. Like, you were a beginner at breathing once when you came out of the womb. Like, there is nothing we have always intuitively done. And so just remind yourself that, like, just because you don't know how to do RV life doesn't mean don't do it. Like, and I've been researching becoming a full-time RVer for at least 5 years. Like, I want to say I was a freshman in college, which was 2014. It is now 2022. So that's a lot more than 5 years. Right? Yeah, 6 years. I don't do math. Anyways, 2014 was the first time I started researching online what it was like to become a full-time RVer. And the dream has shifted and shaped and changed, but, like, now it's here. And did I still know everything? I knew stuff. Like, I definitely had, like, done my research, but I was like, I'm getting a fifth wheel, and we're in a pull-behind trailer, like, with one slide out. I was like, I'm getting a fifth wheel with 3 slides out, 3 slide outs at least. And that's not what happened. But, like, I'm living the dream. And so be stubborn with your dreams and be flexible with how you get there and what they look like. But don't be flexible enough to let other people talk you out of them. Don't. Because you are the only person that will spend every day with you for the rest of your fucking life. No one else will. And you're the only person that at the end of the day, no matter what facade you put on, knows if you're actually proud of the life you're living or not. Trent Shelton, we just went to an amazing event called Empower Her Live this past weekend. And as if we hadn't already bought the RV, we were already doing the damn thing, but it was, like, the perfect kick in the ass to be like, do it. And Trent Shelton says, at the end of your day and at the end of your life, you have 2 choices. To lay there and regret that you didn't do the thing you wanted to do because of X, Y, or Z. No matter how good your excuses are, I just want you to question if your excuses are really worth your life. Because you can be alive and not be fully living the life you want and just be a zombie walking through your days, which then you will have option 2, where, like, you go to bed each night and regret because you're not really proud of how you lived your day. And then you lay on your deathbed not really proud of the way you lived your life. And no one else is going to be there. Yeah, your loved ones might be, like, around your deathbed, but they're not going to be here. They're not going to be in your heart. They're not going to be in your head. They're not going to be the ones that lived every single one of those days. And so, like, don't let their advice, like, listen, let it keep you safe maybe, but not safe enough to play small. Not safe enough to never actually live out who you are called to be and the person you were made to be. Because guess what? Yeah. Will it be hard? Yes. Will it be stressful? Yes. Will it be confusing? Yes. But also it can be so freaking fun. Like, it doesn't need to be stressful and miserable every single day of your life. Like, you weren't made to just, like, wake up and work and die. And I'm not saying, like, if you have a career that needs college, don't go to college. But, like, if you have a career that doesn't, like, if you have goals in your dream, like, then don't. Like, don't do the things just because other people did them, because you're not other people. Like, you're not. Your fingerprint is unique for a reason. There's no one like you. There is no one that has walked every day of your life up until this point, and there's no one that will do that. Like, this is my life partner. I want to be with Ashley the rest of my life. But is she me? No. And am I her? No. And so, literally, even the most intimate relationships in your life cannot be the ones that dictate who you are and how you show up in this world. It is up to you. And we just want to create this movement of people being in love with life enough to be brave enough to build lives that they really freaking love. And, like, that's the tagline from another one of our podcasters. And also, I just want to, like, for me, like, so much of my wisdom and my guidance in my life and, like, where I want to go, like, I had an amazing family and great structure and great education, all these things. And they were great, but they were all leading me here. Like, they were great to get to this goal, but my goal was here. And so I had to search out other mentors. I had to search out other voices. I had to fill my mind with other things of people that were where I wanted to be, were who I wanted to be, that showed up in the world like I wanted to show up in the world. And so, yeah, we want to be voices for people that are looking for a different voice, that are looking for people to be like, hey, what's your dream? Your craziest, wildest dream? Go do it. We believe in you. This is why we want to create. This is our YouTube, our Instagram, our Facebook, our TikTok, whatever else comes. But like, we just want to be present in life and help others live the life they want to live. And like, remind you that like, it's not perfect. We didn't go buy a ring light. We didn't like go put on our best outfits and fix our makeup. And like, I literally was undoing my braids while she started this. But I loved it because she was like, that's our whole thing. Like, you're never going to be ready. You just got to fucking do the thing.
Yeah. And we were just talking about, just how we like change. We like doing new things. And a lot of people will be really critical about that. Like, I swear, recently I had someone say, like, you change jobs too much. Like, every year. But you know what? Here's the thing. I started at $14 an hour 7 years ago. I worked for an adolescent group home for boys. And then I worked for a crisis center, you know, talking to suicidal, homicidal people every day. And I made $14 an hour. I did love the job, but it's a stressful job to only make $14 an hour. Every single time I've added to my resume, I've moved up. And so, yes, I switched jobs a lot, but like, to like advance in my career.
Yeah.
But also I just believe in change and growth, and me staying in something, like, I'm not growing and I don't find it fun.
Yeah.
So we're very alike in that way, where we're like, we're just gonna keep expanding our minds, keep learning new things, keep taking new jobs. And I love it because I work remote now. So I can pretty much go anywhere in the country. And so we want to like go and explore and travel the country and go to different campgrounds. And our whole message is to spread love over hate. I mean, being a lesbian couple, we know that there is a lot of hate still. And, you know, people get to meet us and know us, and we're not too bad of people. So they get to learn about us and grow themselves. So it's just a learning experience and a growing experience. But we're super excited. Yesterday, I drove the 30-foot trailer, 30-foot camper down from where we picked up the van at Camping World.
Like 40 minutes through rush hour traffic on a highway.
And, you know, I was scared, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Like, I've moved across country several times, and I had like a 6-foot trailer on the back, and I was alone. And even then I was scared before I did that. But in my mom, I remember she always thought, like, you're so brave. Like, she'd tell me, you're so brave to do that, or like drive across the country by yourself. And I love that. And that's when I learned the most. And so I'm glad I found a partner that wants to go on this life journey with me and just, like Keisha says, do the damn thing. And then I got here and Kaylee jumped in and she backed it in. And she did it like a badass. Like, it was so good. She nailed it. Like, honestly, pretty quick, she nailed it. But it was funny because our neighbors, who are really awesome, they automatically assumed she was a man, like, in the truck, and they're like, he's gonna back it in there. And I got nervous because I'm like, do I say it's a woman? Do I say it's my girlfriend? Or do I just let her get out and then realize, like, are they not gonna like us? Like, you have all of this stuff going through your head, especially with like all the oppression in the world and stuff. You're like, what are they gonna think? I mean, they're gonna be our neighbors till the end of December. And she drove around again, and Robbie was like, is that a woman? Does she have long hair? And I was like, yeah, actually, that's my girlfriend Kaylee. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I just assumed it was a man. And I was like, no problem. Like, of course, you know, a lot of men drive trucks, but my girlfriend's a badass and drives a truck. But yeah, and then he was so helpful. And we were like, we're creating a YouTube, so you can help us with content creation. And he was laughing.
Yeah, and it's just cool because, like, even then, like, not only did he make a generalization that, like, Ashley got out, and so the girl got out, and the dude was going to back it in, right? And we could have been mad. We could have been like, oh, F you, like, you're homophobic. But he wasn't. And, like, we made the generalization that he was going to think that because he was a man from Texas. You know, like, Ashley had that generalization in his head about him, like, about this fear, you know? And so, like, that's another thing why we want to create this, is, like, help people work through those things of, like, it's okay that, like, you're not going to automatically assume when you meet me and I'm talking about my partner that it's a woman. It's just not okay if you treat us less than because of that. But, like, he didn't. He's amazing. But that's another point. Like, she told him that, and then I was like, he's like, you're kind of crooked against the cement. And I was like, yeah, like, we'll take a picture of it and laugh about it one day. Like, it's not perfect, but, like, I backed it in and I hit nothing. It's great. It was pretty dang level. Like, we figured it out. And I was like, but our whole point is, like, showing up and being like, just do it. Like, don't wait till it's perfect. Don't wait till you have it all together. Don't wait till you have every single answer figured out, because you'll never have them. Like, there will never be a perfect time. You will never be less busy. Like, we were, like, going late at night, like, after work. Like, I actually got in trouble with my work for, like, taking, like, advantage of doing too much stuff for our life while in work hours. And I was like, frick, you're right. Like, I was, like, because I got excited about this. But, like, also that's the thing. Like, sometimes you just got to do what you need to do and what is best for you. And, like, the people that love you will come around. And the people that you don't want in your corner will leave on their own. And it's kind of nice. Like, I've realized that a lot over the past year of my life. I knew that, like, I knew, like, a year ago that, like, I knew I was going to be with a woman. I knew I was lesbian. I knew there was no going back for me. I had been trying to suppress it to be a good Christian, to be a good daughter, to be a good member of society, like, whatever, for my whole life. Like, my whole life. And then I, like, came out about a lot of sexual trauma in my childhood a few years ago. And at that time, I was, like, it was around that time that came to light. With my family, that I also knew, but I was worried because one of the reasons I questioned my sexuality my whole life was because growing up in the circles I did, and especially in, like, Christian circles, a lot of the time I was told, like, people are only gay because they were abused. And I had done enough work, enough therapy, enough soul work, enough internal mind, heart, spiritual work. Like, we are lovers of the Lord in the ways that, like, there is a God that created us and loves us, and we love that God. And, like, do we know the details around it? No. And I don't really want to serve a God that I can, like, make so small I can fit him in my pocket and be like, God is a he, God acts this way, God talks this way, this is who he is, this is what he does. Like, and I did it for years. Like, I was a pastor in the Christian church for years. And I'm just uninterested. I'm just uninterested in playing God by, like, telling God who he is. I'm just interested in, like, letting divine love lead the way every single day. But I don't even know where I was going with any of that, but to share that, like, these are some of the topics that our page will be about, is, like, the faith journey, our coming out stories, our journeys with, like, substances, and how we've numbed over the years, and how we now, like, are both sober, about our journey of, like, food, like, just how everything you put in you matters, like, our journey of, like, what we eat, because we both have stories of, like, going vegan and it, like, really helping us, and we want to get back to that place of living a plant-based diet, but, like, also, like, showing up in a place of, like, but we're not perfect. Like, I still freaking love bacon and burgers, and, like, it's just so much easier for me to just, like, eat meat every day and, like, what's in front of me than to, like, think and, like, put a little tiny bit of extra effort in to make what's best for me. But, like, for a long time, I was always scared to share any of this because I was like, oh, but, like, I'm not, like, there yet, you know? But we don't want to be people that get there and then are like, look at us. We want to be people that are like, we're doing it. We don't know. We're here, we're in it, but it's crooked. And, like, that's okay. We'll get better every time. But, like, don't be ashamed of your starting point. And, like, I'm really excited of our starting point. And that one day we'll look back and be like, whoa, like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think definitely, like what you said, like, all of those messages are super important. I got sober 7.5 years ago, over 7.5 years ago. Now it'll be 8 years in February. Thanks. I got sober when I was 21 and I was in college still. But I started drinking at a young age, and I could tell almost immediately that, like, I had a drinking problem, and that, like, I just had this, like, addictive personality, and I loved it, and I used it to cope with so many things, trauma, mental health, like a mood disorder that I have. So a lot of this will hopefully inspire people who want to live a sober lifestyle, because we want to show people that we have so much fun without alcohol. Like, with alcohol, I'm just, like, on the floor, and, like, I don't remember what happened.
And I'm just an angry bitch.
Yeah, I can be angry. Like, it's not who I truly am. I always thought I was like the party, such an extrovert, but, like, really I just, like, wasn't present for any conversation. And I thought I made friends so quickly, but then, like, couldn't even remember their names. Like, it wasn't meaningful. Now today, like, I feel like the only interactions I want to have are meaningful ones.
Yeah.
And those are the friends I want to have. When we just went to the conference this weekend, they talked about doing an audit of the people in your life, because, like, you are who you surround yourself with, and, like, we want to continue to inspire people. We want to continue to advance in our careers. Like, we want to make a difference, and that's it. Like, we want to make a difference in this world, and we're not going to be doing that if we surround ourselves with people who are, like, also not present in their lives. So that's a big message we want to share, is that, like, you can live life sober and, like, have fun. We love to dance.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have so many dance parties in here. We'll have to make sure the stabilizers are down. And maybe we'll get our friends Robbie and Tammy to come dance with us over here. Hopefully they watch this soon and think it's funny.
We love you guys. We're so thankful.
Yeah, we're so thankful. We're so excited for this journey.
We might have to name our truck after you or something.
Yeah, right? I don't know. But yeah, we're excited for this journey. And
so comment below if there's anything else you want us to speak on. We're going to start making a lot more content, and we want to talk about things that, like, are hard to talk about. We want to, and, like, we're not perfect. We don't know how all this is going to work. And also, like, this is something that is really important to me. Like, one of the things I always was scared about was, like, oh, well, I don't want to say something that could, like, hurt someone that I love if they listen to this. But, like, we're all responsible for our own things. And, like, if someone says something that hurts me, like, I'm responsible for processing, like, why that made me feel the way that I did, and then having a genuine conversation with them. And so, like, if there's anything we ever say in our podcast or on our content, and, like, you want to talk to us about it, if you're a personal person in our life, or if you're someone that found our YouTube for you RV tips, or for sober living tips, or for I'm getting my real estate license. So there's just, like, a million aspects about us. That was another thing that we always struggled with, was, like, for me, like, I've, like, gone through courses. I've, like, called my shot. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I know I'm made to have a platform. I know I'm made to have an influence. I know I'm made to speak on stages. Like, I know I'm made to write this book. Oh, I wrote a book called I Don't Love Myself, But I Want To. And I'm releasing a course and a book that goes through that, bringing women through the journey from, like, self-hatred to self-understanding to self-belief, and then to really start that journey of, like, self-love, of what that looks like, to really, like, love who I am in the journey. And remembering that, like, it's a journey. So, like, this is supposed to get you to the beginning of the journey of self-love. It's like, there's no program anyone could sell you ever. And if they tell you they can, it's a scam. Don't give them your money. That will make you love every single part of yourself every single day the rest of your life. Like, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's possible. But, like, we can give you tools to learn how, when that voice tells you not to love yourself, how to combat it. We can give you tips, how to understand that, how to understand your mind, how to understand your trauma, how to understand your past, how to understand how to, like, so many of us don't love ourselves because we don't know ourselves. But if we're really real, it's because we do know ourselves, but what the world is asking us to be don't match up. And so we feel like we can't love this in between. But like, let me tell you, like, we often think like this is where we are and this is like the world standard of who we should be. And honestly, they're flipped. Like, who the world is asking you to be is far less great than who your intuition is calling you to be. And we just want to help people get there so desperately. And I'm just like, people that know me are like, you're the bravest, most like, you don't give a shit about what anyone thinks. And like, honestly, lately I'm realizing how much I did. Like, how much I was paralyzed and in inaction because of what people thought. And because I had this idea that if I wasn't who I thought people wanted me to be, I was failing. And let me tell you this, the only definite failure is being inauthentic. Like, not being you. Like, the best way to win in this world is to freaking be you. Because it's your world. Like, it's your world. And the world, like, if the world didn't need you, you wouldn't have been created. Like, you wouldn't have been born into the specific family you were, for the reasons you were, gone through the things you were, be the person you are, have these things boiling up inside of you. Like, none of that would have happened if it wasn't needed. Like, this world is divinely orchestrated. Like, we couldn't be placed closer to the sun or further away from the sun, or like we would burn or we would freeze, you know? Like, even just those little things just makes me think like, you showing up or you not showing up, like, means other people, like, catching their fire or, like, freezing out on their dreams. And, like, whew, man, I'm lighting myself up right now. Like, this matters. You matter. Like, you freaking matter. And that is, like, my greatest goal is that, like, I just want, like, this whole, like, Brave in Love name came from, we were laying there one night and sharing about some of our trauma and our history to each other. And I just looked at her and I was like, you're really brave to like choose love in that scenario. And then I was like, I think that's what we should name our podcast. Like, our lives are about bravely loving, you know, like loving people when they've hurt us, loving each other in a world that tells us we're wrong. Like, loving life when we're told like, oh, it's not the life you're supposed to live. Like, oh, okay. Like, loving everything about us. Like, loving our imperfections, like learning to love my curly hair, learning to love our bodies, learning to love after heartbreak, like learning to love someone that was like, I'm not out yet and this might be a hard journey. Like, but like, it's brave. It's brave. And like, if you've listened to this 27-minute podcast or YouTube, like, you're brave and you need to know that because you're not listening because you just want to. Like, if you're still listening, it's because you're like, that's me. Like, I need someone to push me into my dreams. Like, that's me. Like, I have something bubbling up inside of me that like wants to be different than who I was asked or told to be in my mind. Like, and I just want you to know, like, you are brave enough to do it. And like, you don't need to know the end goal yet. Like, you just need to take one step. Like, just take one step towards your most authentic, truest dream life.
So, follow us on Instagram, Brave in Love 143. Brave in Love 143. And now this is our first YouTube video. More to come. Please comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We will be sharing more of our own journeys and the ins and outs of living the RV life, anything on mental health advocacy, my journey with a mood disorder, taking medication. There is so much to all of this. Anything else?
Subscribe and hit the button so you get notified when our other stuff comes out.
All right.
We love you.
Love you.
We are Brave in Love, and we love you. Go be brave.